It wasn't until I took methamphetamine and started going into a criminal life that I'd never been a lawbreaker before that. Even taking heroin, I never broke the law. I didn't hurt anyone. That all changed when I went into the world of meth. I knew when I stepped over the threshold what was actually happening, and every fibre of my being was saying, do not go here. It's going to end bad. And my disease of addiction was so strong in me of needing that next shot, I stepped anyway, and it was the worst thing I could ever have done in my life. I was a daily, multiple times a day user. I was completely enslaved by it. The second I put a substance into my system, I was not able to connect with my spiritual self. It just became dark. The darker I got, the more desolate and larger the hole in my soul became, until, I just had nothing there at all, and it was quite sad. And amongst all of that, I found out I was 4 months pregnant. I thought to myself, there's a good chance that this baby is going to be deformed, because I've been using flat out. When I first met my daughter after she was born, it was mixed feelings for me, because I became extremely protective and completely bonded with her. And at the same time, I could not trust myself not to use, and I wanted to breastfeed her. I was dealing with people on a level where it was impossible for me to stay clean here, so I literally had to remove myself from the state. 6 months later, I came back to Adelaide with her. I'd finished breastfeeding. I got off the plane, I took her to my mum's and went straight to a cook's house and got on. They took my daughter and my parents took her, and they just said to me, you either leave this life or you're never getting her back again. Even at the precipice of losing my daughter, I still, without anyone knowing, was using. I tricked them, I fooled them. I ticked every box, so it looked like I was doing what they wanted me to do, but I wasn't doing any of it. The older she got, and the more she was able to pick up on what I was doing, the more my behaviour became subversive. If she brought friends and stuff like that over, I would just hide my behaviour. And I was in psychosis a lot of the time, and she was getting episodes of me being normal, and then she wasn't really knowing what was normal and what wasn't normal. So it was quite a scary time for her. I would like to say that, Talia has always won. My love for my child has always won over the disease, but it's not the case. The disease wanted me dead, and it's way bigger than I ever was, and even the love for my child, and the disease was bigger than her. I would be drinking with tears coming down my face, just not being able to stop. I'd be having a shot, not being able to get the shot in, and just beside myself, not wanting to do it, but being forced to continue. So there's this yearning for wanting to reconnect to something that was, good and loving, and because I was relapsing for 8 years, still blocked off from the sunlight of the spirit, still blocked off from that source of collective consciousness of beauty. And for some reason, I was able to reconnect to this spiritual aspect of my life. It changed everything. I wasn't struggling anymore. I wasn't fighting for my life to stop using. I just did not crave drugs and alcohol anymore. And now, a couple of years down the track, it's the last thing I want to do. The more I'm in recovery, the more I can reflect upon and have empathy for what it was like for other people being around my epicenter of destruction. All my interactions and relationships were cut off. And the relationship that was cut off to me, which was the most pivotal and the most important, was the one that I had with my own child. She's always loved me and I've always loved her, but it's about she needed to learn how to trust me again. My parenting has changed a lot since I've got into recovery, and now we actually have a beautiful, relationship forming, which I cherish very deeply. And You know, I know that my daughter also appreciates my recovery as well because it's given her her mum back. What is great for me is that I can be in recovery and, you know, I can give back to a system that really, really helped me. And, you know, as a fourth year social work student, as a person in recovery and fellowship, and as someone that has lived experience, hearing the voice of the people is my gig. That's what I love. That's what I hope to do for the rest of my life until I die. I hope to be of service in those ways. I think I needed every second of it to have the type of heart I have today and the type of compassion I have today and to have the type of mind that I have today. None of that would be possible without every second of what I've lived.